watching me from YouTube. Wow, just had it muted. Didn't see that. Anyhow, let's try this again. Take two. Let's try this one more time. Telling you when you are live, things can happen. But I want to thank you for being here. This is episode 230. Thank you for basically joining me. I am your host. As I was saying, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and like the broadcast. Also, make sure that you can that you share it with anyone that is not on that you would like to see this. If you get anything of value from our previous episode, please go ahead and like it. Go ahead and share it. If you're watching us from YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, and it is at the 30 with Patrick on YouTube. If you're watching us from LinkedIn, surely go ahead and repost so that others can take advantage of what we are going to be talking about. Folks, we are coming to the end of the year, and it's time for us to really look and take some time out to see how we did with we're talking about looking at our personal development, our personal growth and development. This episode is Reflect and Reassess, a year-end check-in, or year-end, yes, check-in with our personal development goals. And that's what this is all about. And I'm going to share with you a process, or for better words, a system that you can use to help you to assess where you are at this point of the time of the year. It is that time. It is crunch time. Wherever you are, what goals that you set, if you've set goals for this year in terms of your own personal growth and development, it's time to pull them out. It's time to really look and see where you are, what you have done. Have you achieved any of those goals? If you haven't said anything, maybe it's time to really sit down and look at and start planning for 2025. But it is that time. It is that time for us to take time out to see what we have done. Have we achieved any of our personal goals, any of our personal development goals? Have you, like the majority of us, dropped off some of the goals? Maybe you haven't achieved some of the goals that you have set forth, whether it was maybe reading more books. I don't know what your personal development goals were for 2024, but where are you? Did you achieve any of them? Did you achieve some of them? Have you taken time to really look back and see where you are? So if you are the person that has set goals for 2024, you are in the right place at the right time, because today, on today's episode, we're going to take a look back. We're going to talk about how can we look back, how can we reflect and reassess our growth journey. So I'm going to give you some ideas and thoughts. I'm going to lay out a system that you can use that will help all of us, including me, to really look back and see what have we done, right? Have we grown? Have we set some things aside? Did we achieve them or did we not? So it's valuable for us to take time out to do that. So if you have in this episode or previous episodes, if you find anything of value that has helped you in your personal and your professional or your spiritual growth over the last year, I invite you to be a part of our community. And in our description notes, you will see the link to our community. Or I also invite you to join our newsletter to find out where we are going, what we've done, and what will we be doing in 2025. So either of those two or both of them, subscribe to our newsletter and join our Impact Leaders Connect community. So let's look at the process or the system that I have put together, that I've researched and I've put together, that may help you to reflect and reassess your personal growth and development. Let's start with the most important one. The number one step of them all is to what I call the pause and reflection time. Pause and reflection time. This is if you don't do anything else in the process or the system that I'm going to lay out to you. This is the single most important one. This is the foundation, because you can't get to step 2 without this first step. And the first step is to really sit down, pause, give yourself some time, pause, and take time to reflect as to where you are in your personal growth. What were the goals that you set? So make a pause, be intentional in taking time for yourself to pull those goals. Maybe you don't know where they are. You set them in January of 2024 of this year, or you set them last year, but you want to pull them out, dust them off, right? Or if you have them up on the wall, or you have them in your car, wherever you may have them, it's time for you. Step number 1, take some time for yourself and be intentional in that. See, personal growth doesn't happen by accident. It's not accidental. Personal growth and development takes time. It takes consistency. It takes being intentional and thoughtful introspection. So by you taking time, now you are on the right step. So reflection helps us to really identify what's working, or what has worked and what has not worked. So the first step, as I said, is pausing and taking time to reflect. Reflection is we can use it as an opportunity to grow. So we take time, we pull those goals out, and now we are reflecting on them. So rather than judging what you've done or being so critical of if you didn't achieve some of those goals, sometimes we could be pretty hard on ourselves, right? We could critique ourselves. We can give ourselves negative feedback. We can be our worst critic. But what reflecting does in that first step, it helps us to look and see where we are, what we have done, what we have not done, and basically give an assessment. It's an assessment of where we are. So remind ourselves that growth involves both success and setbacks. So if you are so hard on the things that you have not done, I would highly recommend give yourself a break. All right. None of us, if we are truthful with ourselves, and yours truly included, I set some personal, professional, and spiritual growth plans or goals for 2024. I wanted to achieve X amount of things, right? Personal growth and development. Some of the things that I set forth was to be more intentional in reading, be more intentional in studying. But guess what? I missed some of those times. But I'm not going to be so critical of myself, because things happen. We realize that challenges come up. We procrastinate sometimes. So as opposed to beating yourself up, use it as an opportunity. Look at what you've achieved. Celebrate the times that are the things that you've achieved, and use the growth, the success, and the setbacks as opportunities, as opposed to beating yourself up. So we can learn from both success and setbacks, aka failures. And it's okay. It's all right. So that's number one. The number one step in the process or our system is really pausing and taking time to reflect on the journey that you've had for this year and being honest with yourself, doing an honest assessment of yourself. Where are you? Were there growing pains? Were there successes? When there are successes, reward yourself. Where there were setbacks or failures, learn from them. And reset it for 2025. So now that we have that step number one, what I'm going to do now is this set the stage for the reflection time, right? So how do we reflect? What is the process of reflecting? So I'm going to talk about that as we go forward, but let's lay out some of those things. Be intentional in the time, whether it's an hour, maybe it's half an hour, maybe it's over a period of time. Maybe an hour here today, next week is another hour. But give yourself that time. So here's how we set the stage for reflection. Find a space that works best for you, where there's no distraction. Turn off the television, turn off the computer, turn off the phone. Find a space, wherever that space is, whether it's in your house or out of the house, whether it's at the beach if you're someplace warm, wherever that is, it's in your car. Find a space that works for you where there is no distraction whatsoever. A place of solitude where you can think, where you can process, where you can reflect. And then we want to make sure that as we are in that place of solitude or that place of silence, it's a place for us to hear our inner thoughts. It's a place for us to seek the Lord. It's a place for us of prayer. It's a place for us to be honest with ourselves in our review or reflection. It's a place for us to, if you like journaling, if journaling is what you do, it's a place for us to journal. It's a place for us to meditate. It's a place for us to hear from the Lord in terms of what have we done? Where are we going? Right? To hear from him. But it's a place of silence. It's a place of peace. And that's what we want. We don't want any distractions. Turn off this thing, the phone. Turn off the computer. Get away if you can from all distractions. And it's about you. Pull your goal sheet out. If you're using the one that we give you from last year, you can do that. We'll give you another copy coming later on this month and early in January. We'll tell you how you can download it for free. It's a free download for you. If you want a guide as to how to set goals, we'll have that available for you shortly here. So that's step number one. Get away from the busyness of life. All right, that's step number one. So now that you have step number one down, let's move on to step number two. And I call step number two, this is what we call the evaluation step. So if step number one is the reflection step, right, where you're pausing, you're taking time, you're getting away from the busyness of life, you're focusing on just solitude. Step number two now is what I call the evaluation step. This is done through a strategy of questions where you're actually asking yourself, and I'm going to give you a couple of questions here, where you're asking yourself some questions and you're honest with the questions, right? You're honest with the responses. So here is a list of questions. I'm going to give you a couple of them here. The first one is, what goals did I set for myself this year? What goals did I set for myself this year? We're looking at personal growth and development, whether it is in the growth of health, that's a growth and development. Could it be a growth, try to improve personally, professionally, and spiritually? Those are what we're talking about. Growth goals, personal growth and development goals. So what goals did I set for myself this year? I'm assuming that you set some goals. And then you want to ask yourself, were these goals clear? Were they clear to me? Did I really understand them? Or didn't I just set them, I wrote them down, but I didn't fully understand them because I didn't go back to review them. So were these goals clear? What did I set? Were they clear? Did I have a strategy in place? Meaning I set the goals, but did I have a strategy that I was going to utilize to achieve these goals? And then if the answer is yes, did I have some realistic action steps to go after these goals? So did I set any goals? Were the goals clear? Did I have clarity? Was there a strategy that I had in place? And were the action steps realistic? Because sometimes we set some goals and we have some action steps that there's no way. Yes, there are some things that's called stretch goals or stretch action steps, but sometimes these things are so unrealistic that we set ourselves up for failure. So were they realistic? See, having clear goals, they help us to be realistic in the roadmap, because goals is a roadmap, right? Setting a goals is a roadmap. Having the action steps, specific action steps, is a roadmap to help us to achieve those goals. Were we intentional in our steps in order to achieve our goals? So were the goals clear? Did we have a strategy? Did we have the action steps? Were the action steps realistic? Or were they so out of bounds that we set ourselves up for failure? So that's the first question that we want to ask ourselves and pulling our goals out. So reflect on the goals that you set, whether or not you still align with them, but you want to pull them out and look at them and reflect on them. Number two, the second question that we want to ask ourselves, what progress did I make towards these goals? I'm assuming that you have made some progress. Meaning, if you set the goal and you started it, that's progress. Many people don't set goals. Many people may set them, but don't make any steps. They haven't made any steps forward. So what progress did I make towards my goals? Give yourself credit if you made progress. Celebrate the small wins. You've heard me say this before. If you've made any progress, celebrate the small wins. Don't wait till you get to the big wins to celebrate. Celebrate the small. A win is to set a goal. That's a win. Celebrate that win. A win is that you actually moved forward. You've made progress. That's a win. Celebrate that. If you've achieved one of your goals, celebrate that. So, however big or small the achievement was, celebrate it. And think about how are you going to celebrate. Don't go out and lavishly spend on the celebration because you've achieved that small goal. Give yourself something, right? A small token of appreciation. Celebrate it. So, whether you've, as I said, whether you it's a big goal or small goal, celebrate it, because what that does, it fuels you. It fuels your motivation and it encourages you to keep going. That's what it does. The small wins, the little things. It encourages you to keep going to the next, to the next, and to the next. So reflect on them. Feel proud of the progress. Say, yes, I did that. Right? I did that. Thank God for doing that. Thank God for helping me. I did that. Yes, right? Thank you, Lord, for helping me. And keep going forward. Don't stop. Don't give up. So the first question is, what goals did I set for myself this year? The second question is, what progress did I make in these goals, big or small? The next question that you should ask yourself, what challenges did I face? And how did I respond to these challenges? I'll say that again. What challenges did I face and how did I respond to these challenges? See, most people, when they face a challenge going towards their goals, well, not most people. Some people tend to give up. Some people tend to quit. There's a saying that I love, quitters never win, winners never quit. Love that saying. Quitters never win, winners never quit, right? So what challenges did I face and how did I respond to them? As you move forward in your journey, your personal, your professional, and your spiritual journey, your development, guess what? You are going to come up against adversity. And if every time you come up against adversity, you quit, you're not making any progress in your growth. So reflect on, how did I handle these challenges? What did I learn from these challenges? And we should always look for a learning, a takeaway. What did I learn from them? So that I don't repeat them over and over again. How resilient was I in this process? What leadership steps did I take if you are in a leadership role or leadership capacity? What was my decision making like? Was I afraid to make a decision? Or did I move forward in being decisive when I was faced with adversity? So that's number, I think that's number 3 in terms of my question. And I'm going to give you one more here. The next one is, did I stay true to my values and purpose? Did I stay true to my values and purpose? See, reflection isn't just about achievement. It's also about aligning with your core, aligning with your true values and your purpose. So, did I stay true to my values? Did I stay true to my core? Did I stay true to my purpose? Or did I compromise my core values? Did I compromise who I am about in order to achieve the goal? See, some people compromise who they are, their core values, in order to succeed. Well, that shouldn't be you. That's not what we're advocating here. Some people say, well, by any means necessary. Well, by any means necessary, that sometimes you compromise who you are. You give in terms of your integrity and your character. And that's not what we're about. That's not what we advocate here on the 30 or at the Jackman Group. Stay true to your core values. Yes, you may lose something along the way. You may not succeed when you desire to succeed, but you are who you still your authentic self. You've not lost your credibility. You haven't lost or jeopardized your integrity or your character. So as we end, I said that was the last one, but I think I'm gonna give you another one here. And the last one for this episode is, what am I most grateful for this year? It's about gratitude in your journey. What am I most grateful for this year? Are you most grateful for others around you? Are you most grateful for helping others or others helping you? Are you most grateful for collaboration? Are you most grateful for the Lord being part of your life? What are you most grateful for? See, gratitude fosters a positive mindset and encourages further progress. You have to be grateful for something, because it's not all about you. It's about others around you. What are you most grateful for? So as we end, let me give you these questions again as you sit with yourself, time of solitude and reflection. And as we looked at 2024, and this is a year in check-in about your personal growth and development. So we said step one is about pausing and taking time to reflect, making sure that you set aside some time away from any distraction. That's step number one. That's the most important step in the process or system. The second step really is to sit down, right? Sit down and ask yourself some honest and thought-provoking questions, and be honest with yourself with the answers or the responses. The questions are, and this is step number two, which is our evaluation step. And step number one, and first question is, what goals did I set for myself this year? Were they clear, realistic, and did I have a strategy and actions and some action steps? Then the second question that you're going to ask yourself is, what progress did I make towards these goals? And be honest. Third is, what challenges did I face and how did I respond? Fourth is, did I stay true to my values and purpose? Or did I compromise who I am in order to succeed? It's about staying true to you, your core values, as opposed to jeopardizing your character and your integrity. And the last one that I put forth is, what am I most grateful for this year? So as we end and we reflect on the areas of growth for 2024, look at where you are, and now the next step is to plan for 2025. So in the coming weeks, 2 weeks from today, we are going to be talking about what can we do, how to set goals as we move into 2025. Next week, we are going to bring Dave back, and we're going to continue with looking at year end. right? Looking at how can we review or reflect on 2024 and position ourselves for 2025. Dave Young is going to come back, and he's going to be talking about year-end strategies, year-end tax strategies that we can utilize. So that's next week. But until then, if you have any questions for me, please, by all means, drop me a line. I am going to put the email up here. Let me grab that for you. It is info@jackmangroup.llc.com. That's info@jackmangroup.llc.com. The 30 certainly is a production of the Jackman Group LLC. If you would like to join, if you'd like to subscribe to our newsletter to get the latest of what we will be doing for 2025, if you'd like to hear that, that is in the show's description. Make sure that you take a look at that and subscribe to our newsletter. We love to have you to be part of our community. And lastly, if you would like to join our community, or what we call our Connect community, Impact Leaders Connect community, you can go ahead, and here's the link for it. It is also in the show's notes and description. So that's about it, folks. I want to thank you for being here. As we end, make sure that you are spending time in terms of reflecting and assessing 2024, a year in check-in of personal growth. So I want to thank you once again. May God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you on next week.